Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you're a focused learner looking to truly understand why you do what you do, and more importantly, how to actually change it, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we are demystifying the science of habit formation. We're going to visually map out exactly how your brain works and how you can literally hack it to transform your life and your workplace.
But first, think about this morning for a second. When you woke up, did you consciously decide to hop in the shower, check your email, or grab that cup of coffee? Or did it just kind of happen? Who is really making your decisions? Are you truly in control of your morning routines, or is your brain just running on autopilot? Well, spoiler alert, it's almost certainly the latter.
To answer why that is, we're turning to Charles Duhigg's absolutely groundbreaking book, The Power of Habit. We're using this incredible source material today as sort of an instruction manual for the brain. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a visual, actionable framework, honestly, a real cheat code, to transform both your personal behaviors and the cultural patterns within your organization.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Inside the habit loop. 2. The golden rule of change. 3. Your personal habit audit. And finally 4. Leading with keystone habits. Let's get started.
Section 1. Inside the habit loop. The neurological baseline.
All right, so deep inside your brain is this golf ball-sized piece of tissue called the basal ganglia. Its entire job is to conserve your precious mental energy by taking sequences of actions and turning them into automatic routines. You see this clearly in MIT brain scans of rats placed in a maze with chocolate at the end. During the first run, the brain is actively thinking. It's just exploding with high activity. The rat is sniffing, scratching, trying to figure the whole thing out. But after a week, the route becomes a habit. The brain activity drops to almost nothing. The basal ganglia has totally taken over, creating this low-energy, automatic routine. Your brain literally powers down to save effort.
And this automatic process always follows a strict 3-step neurological loop. First, there's a cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode. Then there's the routine itself, which is the actual behavior. And finally, there's the reward. The reward is what helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is actually worth remembering for the future. So, cue, routine, reward.
But here's the thing. Anticipation is what actually powers that loop. Once your brain learns the loop, a craving emerges. Take smoking, for example. The visual cue of a cigarette pack triggers the brain to anticipate that nicotine rush. Before the routine even happens, the brain is already craving the reward. And if it doesn't arrive, that craving just grows and grows until the smoker unthinkingly reaches for a cigarette. The cue and the reward become so deeply intertwined that the habit is born.
Moving on to Section 2, the golden rule of change, rewiring the brain.
Because habits are encoded deep in your basal ganglia, they never really disappear. They are always lurking in the background. So what does this all mean? How do we stop a bad habit if we literally can't delete it? Well, we rewire it. You keep the old cue, you deliver the old reward, but you insert a completely new routine. This is known as the golden rule of habit change. Whether you're an executive trying to improve productivity or just someone trying to quit eating junk food, almost any behavior can be completely transformed if the cue and the reward stay exactly the same.
Let's look at our smoker again. The cue is stress, and the craving is for stimulation. The old routine, of course, is smoking. Now, if you want to change it, you have to acknowledge that underlying need for stimulation. So when that stress cue hits, you swap out the destructive cigarette for a healthier routine that provides a similar payoff. Maybe that's grabbing a cup of coffee or doing a quick series of stretches. Same cue, same reward, completely new routine.
Section 3, your personal habit audit, the step-by-step worksheet. Okay, let's map this out together. Imagine conducting a full personal habit inventory right now. Maybe it's a terrible afternoon cookie craving that's just destroying your productivity and your health. Step 1, identify the routine. You walk to the cafeteria and you eat a cookie. Step 2, experiment with rewards. Are you actually hungry or are you just bored? Step 3, isolate the cue. What exactly triggers the urge in the first place? And step 4, have a plan.
Now, step 3 is usually the hardest part, right? Because we are constantly surrounded by noise. So, you need to systematically track your daily triggers. Science shows us that almost all habitual cues fall into specific categories. Is it a specific time of day? Is it a location? An emotional state, like boredom or stress? Or maybe it's just the company of a certain person. Are you actually hungry? Or actually, scratch that. Are you just trying to avoid that massive spreadsheet your boss sent over? To fix the habit, you need to play detective for a few days and track exactly what is triggering you.
Once you isolate that cue, you can design a really practical action plan. Let's apply our audit back to that cookie example. You track your triggers and you realize, hey, the cue is always at exactly 3:30 p.m., and the underlying craving isn't actually hunger at all. It's a need to socialize and take a quick break from work. Boom, you've hacked the code. Now, when 3:30 p.m. hits, instead of that cookie routine, you swap it out for a quick chat with a coworker. You get the exact same reward, but you've replaced a negative pattern with a totally positive one.
Section 4. Leading with Keystone Habits. Scaling to the organization.
But what if you aren't just trying to change yourself? What if you're a manager or a senior executive trying to replace negative cultural patterns across an entire organization? Well, effective leaders don't try to change every single thing at once. That is a guaranteed recipe for burnout. Instead, they hunt for keystone habits. These are core behaviors that start a chain reaction. To identify your own keystone habits, you want to look for singular routines that naturally share traits with multiple other behaviors. When you change that one specific pattern, it automatically builds organizational willpower. It dislodges and remakes old patterns throughout the entire institution.
And these keystone habits work because they generate what we call small wins. That's the steady application of a small advantage. When supervisors leverage these tiny victories, it builds immense team momentum. It dramatically shifts office morale, and it convinces people that bigger, seemingly impossible achievements are actually right within their reach.
There is literally no better example of this than the story of CEO Paul O'Neill at the manufacturing giant Alcoa. When O'Neill took over, the company was really struggling. Investors fully expected him to focus aggressively on profits and revenues. That would have been the intuitive move, right? Instead, O'Neill announced he was focusing on just one single thing: worker safety. He made safety the ultimate keystone habit. By forcing the company to analyze every single accident, he inadvertently forced them to improve the entire manufacturing process. Quality went up, communication improved across the board, and profitability absolutely skyrocketed. This keystone habit completely reshaped the environment, disrupting old negative behavior patterns left and right. Check out this amazing anecdote. A plant manager at Alcoa pulled into the parking lot on his very first day and saw that all the best spots were reserved with VIP titles for executives. His immediate action? He ordered maintenance to paint over every single one of those titles. The new rule was simple: whoever got to work earliest got the best spot. This single environmental change completely disrupted their toxic hierarchy. It sent a crystal clear message: every person matters. Morale shot through the roof, and suddenly everyone started arriving to work earlier. We've covered a ton of ground today, from the basal ganglia all the way to the boardroom. And I really want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought from our source material. Once you understand that habits can change, you have the freedom and the responsibility to remake them. While your basal ganglia absolutely runs much of your life just to save energy, your habits are never, ever your destiny. You have the power to rebuild them from the ground up. So, take a look at your own life. Look at your own daily routines, or maybe the culture of your team at work. Armed with the habit loop, the golden rule, and the incredible power of small wins, which habit will you rewrite today? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep analyzing those cues, and I will see you next time.